Hi, I'm Jim Hessler from Path Forward Leadership. Let's have a real conversation about leading up. The great business writer Peter Drucker said that 50% of our success in business comes from our ability to manage our relationships with the people above us in the hierarchy. So we can't be passive in those relationships. We have to take an active role in the relationship if it's going to be a good one. Now, remember how easy it is to blame the boss when things aren't the way you'd like them to be. This video is about 5 things that I believe every employee can do. First of all, I'd like you to envision your relationship with your boss as a partnering relationship rather than as a reporting relationship. Make sure that you have shared goals. Make sure that you have mutual objectives and win-win kinds of conversations. If you think of it as a partnership, they'll see it as more of a partnership. So just changing your mindset about that and not thinking about so much about the power differential between the two of you, but rather about what you can accomplish together. Number 2 is to practice compassion and understanding in your relationship with your boss. Think of the human being in the position rather than just the position. Yes, we teach leaders all the time, and we teach them to be caring and open and connected as possible. But this responsibility is on the employee as well as on the boss. And again, it's easy to be put off by the power differential. It's easy to blame them. It's easy to make cartoon characters out of them. They're real human beings. And your boss may indeed have a very difficult job and may be under a lot of stress that you don't know about. And practice forgiveness, practice compassion and understanding in the relationship, even though that might be difficult to do sometimes. When you need to challenge your boss, try to turn away from complaints and turn towards aspirations or visions, if you will. Examples of that would be to say, rather than say, this thing is getting in my way, to say, I could be more productive if this barrier were removed. Or I have an idea, for example, about how to run our meetings better, rather than to saying, our meetings really suck. So whenever you can, go to your boss with something that sounds like an aspiration, a desire for things to be better, rather than a complaint about the way things are. And this is a good way to give feedback to your boss without it seeming like a criticism. All you're asking them to do is to help you do your job better. And you would think that most of them will be invested in that. Number 4 is work from a good plan. A bad boss and employee relationship often just looks like a scramble in which the employee is just trying to mollify or please the boss. In the spirit of partnership, you should have a good plan in your hands. It will lead to better priority discussions with your boss and more confidence in you, which leads to less micromanagement on the part of your boss. If your boss doesn't think you're planning your day well and they don't think you're being personally productive, they'll naturally become a pain in your posterior. So work from a plan, give every appearance of being in charge, of knowing what's on your desk, and your boss will relax and back off on some of the more negative behaviors that sometimes bosses engage in. And then number 5 is give some appreciation and praise even if you're not getting that from your boss. This can be difficult. Bosses often seem to be self-confident people who don't really need a lot of praise, but I think it doesn't have to be manipulative for you to go into your boss's office and say, I think you did a really good job with that proposal, or I like the way you handled that situation. Showing gratitude to another person is not only a compassionate and loving thing to do, it's also another form of feedback. This is what I noticed, this is what I like, and this is what I want more of. I've spent decades in leadership positions, and I can tell you that I can think of dozens of my employees who've made me a better leader and a better human being. Please don't underestimate your ability to be a partner in growth with your boss. And when you're both growing together, it can lead to great things. If you'd like to engage in this conversation with us, please leave a comment. And we look forward to hearing from you with your ideas, with your experiences, and with your questions. Thank you.